All right, everybody, I'm back, and this is part one of my series um, discussing social norms and death. And when I say social norms, I'm basically stating uh, the term natural order of life. Okay, because under whose definition does natural, you know, an unnatural order of life is defined? Yeah, that's where social norms kick in. For some social groups, uh, death is celebrated very differently. And in some groups, uh, death is so taboo till to the point where you don't talk about it. I mean, some people are so, and I'm not passing judgment or anything like that, but I've even heard some people uh, not even address the issue of wills and beneficiaries. They don't even want to talk about it because they feel like they bring about death. And I'm like, that's not very smart, but that's just my humble opinion, because I always say you are an expert on your own life. Okay. So I have some notes here. So if you see me look down, that's what I'm doing. Okay. So in this first series, I said that I wanted to talk about the social norms that humans place death in this box. I mean, death is natural. We did not create this process, the process of death, transitioning of the spirit from the human body. So why do we put all these restrictions on it? Okay. And before I go any further, let's discuss the premise for this series, the reason for this. What caused me to want to have this discussion? So I'm just going to sit back. It's Friday, and I just want to talk about it. And it needs to be talked about. So here we go. My children and I just recently uh, experienced a transitioning of my husband's grandfather, which is my children's great grandfather. It was 98 strong, you guys. I mean, literally all the way, for the most part, for the last year of his life, you know. And during the time of mourning, the environment and the energy was so different compared to the energy and the environment that I experienced when my husband passed away. And that those two experiences were just kind of tugging at me. And I felt a need to analyze it. That's that left brain characteristic of mine. And in those moments, I would sit back and, pray and meditate. I was like, there's something here. And, my spirit was like, I need you to talk about this. So here I am. See, social norms, would say a mother and a father should not have to bury their children. A young mother who is pregnant with their youngest son should not have to bury her husband. A father, a widower, should not have to bury their wife and raise their children. Right? However, social norms says when a great grandfather transitions, it should be celebrated. It's okay, you know. Yet a daughter has buried her father, you know. But social norms say that's okay. It's okay for a daughter or a son to bury their parents. You know, that natural order of life. That social norm, that box, that square, right? That people place death in. And death is like, look, I do my own thing. I'm on my own schedule. Okay. Case in point. During my husband's doing the planning of service, although my husband passed away suddenly, um, it was the environment from planning to people coming to our home to offer their condolences to many months and years, some years after running into people, it was just very sad. Oh my goodness, people would come up to me, especially right after, and they would just look at. I had people who couldn't even speak. They just had tears in their, and they just held me. We held each other crying because we were so sad. You know, the people would just see the children and then just literally run into the another room because they didn't want my children to see them cry, or uh, or they would dodge the children altogether. You know, it was sad, and people would say, "Oh my goodness, my heart is aching for you." Oh, girl, holding me and embracing me. So, oh, I wish I could take this away from you. You know, I mean, it was heavy, y'all. The sadness, the heartache, it was heavy. It was a lot. I wasn't just sad. It's the people that shared a space with my husband, work, family, old classmates, even some of his old teachers and Boy Scout leaders and some, just people that, experienced him in their lifetime. I mean, it was heavy, y'all. It was like, I mean, it was. I mean, at times it was so just unbearable. For example, the day of the funeral, I remember my leg. It was like my legs. Now I'm pregnant now. Felt like rubber bands. I didn't think I could stand up, and all I remember just doing like this, falling. And I said, I can't do it. And all I can remember hearing people just say, "Okay, we're here for you. Come on, let's just bury your husband. We'll get you home right after." Right? That's how sad and how heavy and hurt I was in everybody. Now, in contrast, let me take a sip of my water. Um, my children's great grandfather passed away. People are bringing over cakes, although people brought food to my house as well. But they are smiling. Hey, how you doing? Oh my goodness, how the children doing? And everybody had want to talk about their granddad. I meant their great granddad. Oh, you remember how he used to do this, and just everybody just laughing and smiling, you know? There was this element of joy. It felt light. It felt good, you know? So it's like death was in its element on some level, right? However, back to my situation, it was, I mean, it was sad. People didn't even want to say my husband's name. They did not. They were coming to me, I just don't know what to say to you. Oh my goodness. Oh my baby. I just don't know what to say. My heart aches for you and those children. Or, you know? So it was like death was in unfamiliar territory. It was not welcome. However, it's the same event. Two people, my husband, transitioned. My children's great grandfather transitioned. They both died, you know? So, is there, I guess, some element of, I don't know, of validity to the natural order of life? Or is it because we set natural, wait, I'll say natural, we set social norms to death, you know? In both instances, it was natural. Um, no one caused any harm to either one of them. They both, for the most part, laid down and they were no more. Same thing with my husband. He laid down and he was no more. My great my grandfather-in-law, he laid down and he was no more. You know, like the Bible says, who was it in the Bible? I can't think. He laid down and he was no more. You know, but two different environments for death. Why is that? You know, Ooh, that's heavy. I'm not here to tell you that one way is better than the other. But what I am here to discuss is that death is a natural event. Is there an order to it? I don't think so. And this is just my belief, not, not my humble opinion. This is my belief. I mean, I experienced death very young. My father passed away. He eventually, due to kidney disease, I was, I think, 13, 12, 13. Um, and of course, my husband passing away 11 years ago while I was pregnant with our youngest son. And along the way, my grandmother, right? So I'm not trying to change your, or let me say, not change, uh, make you conform to my way of thinking. All I ask is that you hear me out. Because when something as natural as death and childbirth exists, and because I know that our Creator doesn't create anything, especially not as natural events that we neither created, that only our Creator did. And that's proof to cause us any harm. So why is it we attach these norms based off, culture, religion, whatever, you know, social norm we use toward death? Because there's so many, you know, people in the South, in the United States, especially here in Georgia, some of us old heads, when there's a funeral procession, people still stop and take their hat off. Those of us that are really from the South, although Atlanta has changed a lot. And if you were driving, you pulled over. You respected the funeral procession, right? And I remember uh, family member in Ohio, they had a drive-up funeral. They were taking pictures of their dead person. See, in the South, you didn't do that. You don't take pictures of a dead person and a drive-through funeral. What is that? That's so disrespectful. But that was their norm. So I say all of that to say that you kind of bring this together for the most part is I'm not asking you to change your ways. All I'm saying is just be open-minded to a thought of death is natural. And God, our Creator, did not create something to cause you sadness, depression, or anger, heartache. Even if you have to bury your husband or bury a child. Now, I tell you right now that, the pain and the separation, you know, is going to be there. In both instances, my mother-in-law is going to miss her father. She's going to go through some form of separation anxiety, I went through the same thing when I had to bury my husband. But there's an element of joy that I just showed you that is there if you don't put these restrictions on something that is so natural, you know? And I'm not going to say that it can be beautiful, but I'm telling you, you can avoid so much pain and discomfort if you are more accepting of death as what it is, a natural experience in this life. There is no order. And I truly, from my experience, would like to take that sting, that death, that bad rep that death has, that negative connotation that everyone has about it. Oh, I don't want to talk about it. Let's not talk about it. I don't want to make a will. You know, why do I need beneficiaries? You know what? Why are you being so negative? Those are just some terms and that people use to deflect from talking about something as natural and beautiful as death. I'm not saying you walking around like, hey, come on, death, come on with it. No. Rather you're celebrating the birth of a child, you know, we should celebrate the I guess the exit of a loved one, the entrance and the exit, you know. So that's what this series is dedicated to. Okay. I just want to make sure I hit everything because I want to make sure I gave my example of a social norm in the context of the natural order of life. My situation would be defined as an unnatural order of life because my mother-in-law buried a son. I buried a husband, right? And compared to my mother-in-law burying her father, which society say is a natural order of life. And I buried my father at 12, 13. Natural order of life, right? But death is not meant to be put in a box. And I can smile now because, grant you, those first few years of my husband passing away, they were painful. And I just knew that I didn't want to go through what I went through and not be able to help someone else. Grant you, in either situation, whether you consider a natural order or unnatural order of life, you do not go through this experience with someone. In other words, you don't experience death, without coming unscathed, without some wounds, some scars, right? And I've seen people who take their scars and they go get these beautiful tattoos, you know? Or is it a situation of taking lemons and making lemonade? But I think that would take away from the beauty of death. See, all I want to do is help you have some sense of ease and acceptance of death. Don't try to, reinvent it. Do not force, death into a box. Do not put death in a corner, you know. Like Patrick Swayze said, nobody puts baby in a corner. Don't put death in a corner. Allow death to get out there and perform and do what it does. And the best way that I can tell you to experience and accept death is to stay in the present. Stay focused on where you are right now. Carpe diem, I think that's Latin, right? Seize the moment. Don't quote me on it. I think it is, though. Stay in the moment. Love right now. Love yourself. Love those that are around you right now. Laugh with those that are with you right now. That's the best way. Okay? So, I'm trying to keep these under 25 minutes. So, in essence, if you stay in the moment, in the present, 100%, let's just say 90% in the present, 10% a little bit in the future, because you got to always plan. Especially me, I'm a pre-plan. I'm that proper pre-planning prevents pissy performance. That's me. So 90% in the present for me. Love on yourself. Love where you are. Love what you're doing. And if you do not love that, then stop it. Do something else. Politely dismiss yourself. Okay? See, the disruption happens when death comes and you feel like it's a disruption of your schedule, right? But if you're loving in the moment, in the present, taking advantage of now, being truthful with yourself now, and being truthful with others now, in the present, there are no regrets. And if they are, very little, you know. Like Frank Sinatra said, and do it, I did it my way. I had some regrets, but so few to mention. Yes, check that song out. So, in the next series, that I will address scheduling. Death on a schedule. Does that exist? Depends on how you look at it, right? Because some are. But anyway, if you don't get anything else from this part 1, is to know that death is a natural process. It's a natural process, not a natural order of life. Because we can't set a schedule for someone and something that we did not create. Okay? And stay in the now. Love right now. I know a lot of people like to say that no matter what you say, you can't take away the pain. I appreciate your kind words, Issa, but it still hurts. I get you. I do. And I want you to look at me now, right? And look at some of my older videos. How I talk, how I express, how my whole expression is totally different. And that was many years after my husband passed away. So I get it. I do. I'm not dismissing your pain, your heartache, your anger, that foggy brain, the heaviness of emotion. And even those moments when things just feel so heavy that you just feel like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't even want to do this. I get it. I've been there. I've felt those emotions. But I'm here to tell you, you can get through it. And the first thing I will tell you is to get some counseling. Talk to someone. Write it out. Talk it out. Get it out. When I say it's, those emotions, those negative emotions. Do you hear me? By any means necessary, but in a healthy way. Anything that leads you to want to hurt yourself or anyone else, you pick up your phone. Here in the United States, call 911. And certain local governments, you can call 211, and they will get you the help that you need. Okay? Do not go through this alone, because you don't have to. I did it. Don't do it. You don't have to. Okay. All right. I'm well 5 minutes over what I said I was going to do, 25 minutes. But I'll see you in the next series where we go into more details as we isolate each phenomenon of death. The natural order, we're just going to talk about that, and social norms. And then in series 3, we're going to talk about how death, from the perspective of death, to the best of my ability, how death is like, how dare you, talking in third person, tell me what I'm supposed to do. So we're going to kind of like break it up, and then finally conclude um, in series 4, um, basically deciding on for yourself where death belongs in your life, because you are an expert on yourself, not society. Okay. Love you guys. See you in the next video. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up, leave a comment if you need to, and just know you're gonna get through it, because guess what, time is not gonna stop for your morning. It's not. That's reality. Just like death is a reality. And it's going to be okay. All right. Love you guys. Bye.